Once you reach a certain level of wealth, the big question stops being, how do I build it? And becomes, do I have enough to actually live the way that I want? Do I have enough to buy a second home, to travel more, retire earlier than I planned, or spend more money without worrying that I'll run out of money? The truth is, enough is different for everyone. And here's the catch, you can't really answer these questions just by looking at your portfolio balance. The number is really only one piece of the puzzle. So today, I want to walk through 3 common principles that I use to help clients answer these questions with confidence. Principle 1, understand the cost. I once met a client who was all set to retire early. They'd saved diligently, they worked hard, they'd seen that their budget lined up with what they felt their portfolio could support. The problem is they hadn't factored in some new costs that came with retiring. They didn't think about unexpected medical costs. They hadn't thought about how their tax situation was going to change. And they hadn't thought about how now that they weren't spending time at work, that they might be spending time spending money, doing things like traveling, fixing up projects around the house. They hadn't budgeted for that. So the first step in answering, do I have enough, for this client, is truly understanding the costs of the decisions that you're making. And when I say true cost, I don't just mean the purchase price or the amount that leaves your bank account. I mean trying to understand the full financial impact of that decision. If you're thinking about retiring early, buying a second home, upgrading your lifestyle, traveling more, there are often costs that aren't immediately obvious. A new home might come with higher property taxes, insurance, maintenance, ongoing expenses. Retiring early might mean funding more years without a paycheck and potentially changing how you invested your assets. How they grew for the last 5 years may not be the right prediction of how they will grow for the next 5. More travel may require adjusting your annual spending and your long-term plan. And beyond the direct costs, there are often opportunity costs. Every financial decision means choosing one use of your money over another. Could that money have been invested, used to support family, given to charity, or used for some other goal in the future? The question isn't just, can I afford this? It's, what does this decision mean for everything else that I want to accomplish? Principle number 2 is creating a plan. With costs mapped out, the next step is deciding where the money should come from. This includes considering the most tax-efficient way to draw down your assets and fund your lifestyle. Depending on what you're adding to your life, there are definitely better and smarter ways to pay for it. For example, buying a vacation home might mean leveraging a strategic mortgage to avoid a massive one-time tax hit. On the other hand, increasing your travel budget might just mean adjusting your monthly distributions so you're pulling from the right accounts. Remember, just because you can pay all cash doesn't mean you should, because every dollar pulled straight from your liquid reserves is a dollar that loses its ability to compound, shelter taxes, or fund future opportunities, because every major financial decision really does have a ripple effect on the rest of your plan. And that brings us to principle number 3, understanding the long-term impact. The third idea is understanding how this decision fits into your existing plan. Adding a new expense or changing your lifestyle in one area can affect the goals you have for the rest of your money. Maybe buying a vacation home means adjusting your retirement timeline. Maybe helping your children financially changes how much you leave to future generations once you pass. Maybe retiring earlier requires a different investment strategy or changes how you think about income and taxes. Even increasing your annual spending can impact how much flexibility you have for future opportunities. Now, none of these things necessarily mean you shouldn't make the decision. They simply mean you need to understand the trade-offs. Working with a financial planner can help you navigate these life changes while keeping you on track to your long-term goals. So when you ask yourself, do I have enough? Remember that the answer is never just a number on a screen. It's about knowing the true cost of your goals, building a smart strategy to fund them, and aiming to ensure that today's choices don't compromise on tomorrow's vision. That's how you make major financial decisions with total confidence. If you're asking yourself these questions and you want help navigating these answers, that's exactly what I do. I work with individuals and families to align their wealth with what matters most to them. If you want to talk through your own situation, feel free to schedule a conversation with me using the link below. I'm Dr. Bennion for Kimball Creek Partners, and until next time, make it meaningful.